Did you know that there are over 25,000 idiomatic expressions in the English language? Isn't that crazy? How in the world are English learners like you supposed to learn all of them? Well, I have some good news. Out of these 25,000 idiomatic expressions in English, I would say there's fewer than 1,000 that Americans actually use. In fact, when it comes to daily English, knowing 100 idioms is probably enough for you to communicate effectively with Americans. There are so many idioms that we just don't use anymore. Let me give you an example. The idiom, "It's raining cats and dogs," is an idiom that I've heard my students say all the time, but Americans and native speakers don't actually use it anymore. So take "It's raining cats and dogs" and toss it to the side. You don't need it. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you 25 idioms that Americans use all the time. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel so that you can get all of my videos right when they come out every week. Welcome to English with Gabi. I'm Gabi, and on my channel, I have some other videos where you can learn other idioms that will help you improve your English. For example, color idioms and sports idioms are really popular in English, so I'm not going to repeat any of the ones that I taught you in those videos in this video. So make sure to take a look at those videos so that you can learn even more common American idioms. All right, let's get started. The first one is the best of both worlds. This means that you have the best from two different situations. By working part-time and staying home with her kids twice a week, she has the best of both worlds. The next one is speak of the devil. This is when you're talking about someone or asking about someone and they suddenly appear. Now, this isn't calling your friend the devil. It just comes from an old idiom, speak of the devil and the devil will appear. So again, you're talking about someone, could be good or bad, and suddenly they appear. For example, sometimes I'm taking attendance and I'll say, "Hey guys, where's Ji Young?" And then who comes walking in the door? Ji Young. And I say, "Oh, speak of the devil." These next two idioms mean similar things, so I'm gonna teach them together. First, to see eye to eye. Second, to be on the same page. To have the same opinions or views about something. They finally saw eye to eye on the business deal. Or they were finally on the same page about the business deal. To be all ears. To be all ears is when you tell someone that you are listening to them. "Oh my goodness, what happened? Tell me, I'm all ears." To cost an arm and a leg. This is when something is very expensive. It's so expensive, it's like we paid with our arm and our leg. This watch better last a lifetime because it costs an arm and a leg. These next two idioms both mean that something is very easy. First one is a piece of cake. The second one is a walk in the park. Last week's test was a piece of cake. Now, typically we say piece of cake, piece of cake. Or, oh, don't worry, this will be a walk in the park. The next one is to feel under the weather. This means to feel sick, or like you're coming down with something. I woke up feeling really under the weather. I can't go to work, I'm sorry. To kill two birds with one stone. This is to accomplish two things at one time. By taking my parents on vacation, I get to kill two birds with one stone. To make someone's day. This is to make someone feel very special by doing something nice for them. Oh, thank you so much for these flowers. They really made my day. To ring a bell. This means that something sounds familiar, but you just don't know why. For example, the name Joanna Wright rings a bell, but I'm not sure where I know it from. To get out of hand. This means to be out of control, to get crazy. The party got out of hand, so the neighbors called the police. The lesser of two evils. This is when you have two options that are bad, and you have to pick the one that is the least bad. Typically, when people vote for president, they have to choose the lesser of two evils. Caught between a rock and a hard place. This is similar to the lesser of two evils, but it's a little bit different. This is when you have two terrible options between a rock and a hard place, and you have to pick one. None of the options for president were good, so they were between a rock and a hard place. Only time will tell. This is when you won't know the true result of something until some time passes. It's like saying, let's see what happens. Only time will tell how much the storm is going to cost us. In the long run, this means in the future, over time. Even though he hated attending school, he knew that in the long run, it would really be beneficial for him. Up in the air. This is when plans have not been solidified yet, or you have plans, but they change because of some situation. So you really don't know what's gonna happen. Because of the snowstorm, our plans are up in the air. To think outside of the box. This means to think in a non-traditional way, or in a way that you usually think. Be creative. All right, guys, if we're gonna impress the manager, we have to think outside of the box. All right, it's time to call it a day, or call it a night. That means to finish. You guys look tired, let's just call it a night. To cut someone some slack. This is show a little mercy, don't be so critical. Cut Jack some slack. He and his wife just got divorced. He's going through a tough time. To give someone the benefit of the doubt. This means to believe that someone is telling the truth. Let's give Anna the benefit of the doubt. She's never lied to us before. To make a long story short, or in a nutshell. To make a long story short, our date went really well. We're gonna go out next weekend too. Or, in a nutshell, the date was amazing. We're gonna see each other next week. That's the last straw. That means I've had enough. I can't take this anymore. I love Kara, but this lateness is the last straw. We have to let her go. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, or we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. This means let's not worry about it until it happens. Paying for university will be really expensive, but let's cross that bridge when we get there. Your guess is as good as mine. This means I have no idea, or I know just as much as you do. Sorry, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Get your act together. This means improve the quality of your work or you're gone. He better get his act together or we're gonna fire him. To wrap your head around something. This means to understand something completely. I just can't get my head around the decision that the manager made. And here's a little bonus. To take something with a grain of salt. This means listen to what someone says, but don't believe or trust everything. Use your own judgment. She's a great person, but take what she says with a grain of salt. Well, guys, that's it. Now you know 25 idioms that Americans use all the time. Don't forget to share this video with a friend so that they can improve their English too. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.